What's up guys, thought I'd give you a quick update on the Brat. I've done quite a lot of welding, probably got a couple of days straight into doing the cab repairs that I was saying about in a previous video. So what I'll do is I'll show you round. I've done a load of reinforcement on the cab for extra bracing, and then on top of that the roll cage will go in the cab. I'll show you around, show you what I've repaired, what I've strengthened, and go from there. Okay guys, so I'm sure if you saw in the last video, we had some pretty bad rot going on in the Brat. So I've repaired both the lower door pillar sections. I also added a bit of bracing just to tie across. Inside the car, we've got all the repairs done to the floor plate, just sealed up a couple of holes in here. Some of this was double skinned inside outside, so there's 2 layers of metal here. I've already got the front foot, which is 3.5mm thick steel for the roll cage. This side wasn't too bad. There was a big hole here, so I've placed this. Also just added a little bracket underneath to give it the floor some strength. At the moment I'm currently working on the back section. So this is going to be the main tie-in for the tube work for the rear suspension. Obviously just more repairs on the floors. This bar is thick, 3, I think this is 3.5 again. It's tied into the body on here. It's also tied into the sill section in the back, which I'll show you. And here is where the rear plate will go for the rear roll bar, which I'll make some small drop downs for. Again, nice thick steel. Like I say, I think that's 3.5. Yeah, all the inside of the front, obviously new sill sections on and welded in, and the other side's pretty much the same story, if I'm honest. The front section right up to the top of the pillar has been repaired, on the floor, sill, and again I added the same as the other side in just for cross brace. Sill section again, obviously, and pretty much the same as the other side. There's some really bad repairs done in here, so I've just gone over a lot of this again. Plate in the back, plate in the front, and again I've got the nice big thick steel drop down plate. I will add a plate up in here once the cage is in, just as the anti-intrusion bar just here, so it'll be very short anyway because I've tried to set the cage so that it's quite close. Same with the back. I'm going to just add a few braces, so brace from here down to something to triangulate just to make the frame strong on the back, to help tie in the cage, to make it all tie together nice and strong. So in regards to these box sections, I ran out of steel. I used old steel, it's a little bit of surface rust, nothing to worry about. In regards to this frame, I've tied it to the original chassis rail, which is all nice and strong still, no rot in any of that. So it's got the back and forth pull brace into it. Like I said, this is a 3mm thick bar that runs the whole length of the sill right to the very front of the car. I don't know how well you can see on there. I've stitched that in, as well as the obviously sill repairs. That's the same on both sides. See the stitching running all the way along. And again, I've done the same with the brace on the chassis, which we'll finish. The reason I haven't finished boxing this area in is because when the cage plates are done, I'll get the cage into the car and it will allow me just to easily weld around the bars while they're sat in there, rather than box this in and make it really difficult to weld the back side of the roll cage. And I think one of the next bigger things after the cage work is boxed in and all done and just tacked in place so I know where everything is going to sit. It's going to be really taking the MX-5 apart so that I can start measuring up where I need to be adding some more braces, where the rear diffs are going to mount and sit. I think I'm going to just go with like my own custom rose joints arms for everything. Also, I've got a feeling that this bulkhead is going to have to go back a little bit. So I mean, doing some measuring, I'm pretty sure I'm going to end up bringing it back to about here. So we're probably going to lose 4 or 5 inches into the cab. I've already measured with regards to pedals and things, so we're all good there. So I'll probably just tie in. There's a little bit of rust that needs cutting out here anyway, so I'll probably just cut that and tie in here, which will bring the engine back a considerable amount in the bay. So I mean, the struts here, these are all coming out. So I mean, I'm going to cut along the chassis, just leave these lower rails, this upper rail, and then I'll make a hoop and probably tie into a bar to the chassis there and into the roll cage drops on the front. Yeah, I mean, under here, this is the section I think will need to be cut back, so roughly around here, and we'll go back, like I say, 4 inches should give us plenty of room to let a bit of airflow around the back of the engine and give us more room to shunt the engine further back into the car. With regards to these front feet, I've probably gone a bit overboard, but I cut the, this looks awful, but there is a good weld under there, I promise. I cut out the original foot that was on the car because it was very rusty and it's only very thin steel. And again, I've put back in its place some really thick box section. So that's braced from the chassis to that sill. The bar that runs along, that's all tied in, boxed in with the end of the sill here. So it means the sill is absolutely solid under here. Then, because of the foot here, obviously trying to make this as strong as possible, this foot is then tied directly onto the sheet metal, and underneath it's tied straight to that brace. So we're connected to the rail and we're also connected to the outer sill, which has been reinforced. Inside these sills, I've put gussets. There's 4 gussets. There's one around here, one around here, here and here, to obviously give it that twist strength on the cab again. Yeah, it sounds like not a lot, but anyone that does sort of restorations or works on cars with tubes and space framing and just general repair work with welding and things knows, you know, there's a lot of time involved in this, and there's going to be quite a lot of time involved in just repairing, as much as it's no longer sort of structural, because it'll be eliminated by the roll cage. But I do want to cut all this out and bend some metal in. I've got some sheet metal over there, so I'll cut all this out and repair that properly. And then I've been working out for this rear section. I bought some over fender sort of universal ones, so we're probably gonna just come like that, just to give us some more room for wheels and whatnot, and wider looks. So that's the kind of most of the update. Under here, I'm going to be following this along here. This bottom section will go all together to make room for a splitter diffuser out the back end, just to break the air through. So yeah, the next update, hopefully it will have a cage in and welded, which I've just got to get someone to bend up for me. I'll find someone to do that. Once that's in, I think I might cut the front struts out, start tying some bars into the cage there on the drop downs. I've done a very basic design. I've tried to go for strength, but not too over the top. You're going to just do your standard hoop over, halo up the top, and then obviously drop down bars to the feet. Door bars, I'm going to run the rally sort of style door bars, obviously with a cross brace, harnesses tied into the bar as well. I've also reinforced the floor down here underneath the centre of the footwell and on the side for the harnesses, so that when they go in they'll be nice and strong as well. Yeah, it's slowly starting to look like it's strong. I mean, it's really silly, but like just the sound of it's starting to sound very solid. So I mean, the main priority is I'm going over the top. Like, the seals didn't really need the reinforcement that I've run along them all. I didn't just tack, I stitch the whole thing end to end, rather than just go along just tacking in, just again to create some more tension in the body, make it nice and stiff, you know, and try and ensure it for future as well. You know, it's a lot of work, don't really want to have to go through it all again. Obviously got to nip off just the ends when I finish doing that, but that's body work, that's not really structural down there. So yeah, obviously I overshot here, this has all got to be just welded together and then finished up. And then, like I said, back window's going to have to come out, and then I'm going to start working on the frame for the rear section, finish up the back of there. Fuel filler neck will probably come out, and then what I'll end up probably doing is possibly running a kill switch in here so I can still lock it away, and then I can open it, kill the switch, and no one can really do anything with the car then. A shame really, because someone sort of made an attempt at repairing it and they just did a absolutely horrific job with just some tacks and a load of seam sealer, which is terrible really. The driver's seat, there was next to nothing holding it down. There's one bolt actually holding the seat down, the other two had been pulled out the floor from the bad repair that had been done, so obviously that was quite concerning. I mean, we're going to go low. It's not going to be amazingly fast car, I'm going to try and get it nicely balanced. Hopefully be fast around somewhere like Castle Combe race circuit with the MX-5 running gearing. I'm probably going to have to shorten the MX-5 prop shaft because the wheelbase is a little bit shorter on the Brat, but that's not a massive issue because I'll be deleting the brace that runs from the diff to the gearbox on the MX-5 setup, because I don't need that because I'll be bracing, making my own mounts. So yeah, I didn't bother filming most of the repairs to the seals and welding because it's quite difficult to see what I'm doing, and I didn't think you guys really wanted a load of me just sat there welding, shouting, because I was getting blobs of weld in my ears and getting burnt in general. I did say in a previous video about covering my arms up, and I'm the worst one for doing it. I sat and welded for nearly a day straight the other day and I didn't cover my arms and I ended up with really bad burns. Flaky skin. So yeah, do cover up when you weld, guys. But yeah, I mean, that's just a little update for anyone that was interested in the Brat build. Like I just said earlier, that it's going to get more serious now because the cage and the framework will begin for the diff and everything in the back and the suspension arms. So yeah, if you're interested, subscribe, follow. Peace out.